Yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as the Law Intellect. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I know you guys saw that thumbnail, and usually I do like one case at a time. But because so much happened over the last 2 days, but I couldn't go live yesterday because my schedule has just been ridiculous with court and all that this week, then I decided I'm going to pile it on. Now, my intent is not to be here for a long time, but as you guys know, that was not my intent on Tuesday, because what I decided to do, and you guys went with me, is we went back to the 90s. I said, we going back to the 90s, and all of you guys came with me, and we kind of stayed there, and we reminisced, and we missed the good old days, or not so good old days, and then it turned into well over the 20 minutes that I anticipated. But I'm going to try my best to get through some things that I meant to go over while I was over there yapping about the 90s and all of those lyrics and dancing and putting music on my voicemails and stopping the tapes and writing them down and all of that stuff. All the stuff we did back in the day. We kind of missed it. I know you missed it because I kind of missed it as well. But we're going to try to get through. We have information on Roger Bond, who is the former security guard from Diddy. While we were up there yapping on Tuesday, he was back making videos. And then today, this morning, his Instagram was gone. So it was all type of posts and stuff. So we're going to get into that. We have Gloria Valez. For those of you that don't know who she is the baby mama who had a baby at 17 by Aaron Hall, who is also in one of these essay lawsuits with Diddy. She's been talking. Now, she got some beef with Luke. I don't know what the beef is for. Thank you, Michelle, for the Cash App. I appreciate you. Thank you, girl. But anyways, I digress. So, I don't know what Luke did to her or didn't do to her. I don't know what it is, but she is posting. People are sending her receipts, I guess, and she's been putting in her stories for the last 2 days. Now, one of the cases we went over to was Jamie Foxx. That, we all agreed that complaint was a little, iffy. And Jamie Foxx came out and said, hey, this same person accused me of this some years ago, allegedly, and it got dismissed in another court. I haven't been able to verify that or whatever, but that's what he said. But anyway, this Jane Doe is still going forward, and she is trying to go forward as Jane Doe. So there were documents, as we discussed before. You can't automatically just go by a pseudonym. You have to have the court allow you to do it, and you have to give the court reasoning as to why you should go ahead and just be Jane Doe instead of your regular name. So we got to go over that. Then we have the lawsuit that we went over where with Aaron Hall and Diddy, so that's what I think we're going to start, because I let you guys know that she decided to no longer go as Jane Doe. She put her name on there, Liza Gardner, I believe it is. We'll pull it up. But I kind of rushed through that lawsuit, and there were things that were in there that were added a couple of days later, aside from her changing from the Jane Doe to her name. So I did want to pull that lawsuit in so that we could focus on that. I put it on my community wall, and some of you guys have some questions, so I want to go over that. So we got a lot to go over. I was going to go over Saronis Jackson But I think we're gonna have to do another video on that, maybe tomorrow. Plus, I told you it's in Saronis Jackson, who is the brother of Darius Jackson, who Keke Palmer has a baby by, and they all have court next week on the 5th on domestic violence and child custody and all of this next week. Saronis was in his own custody battle when he decided to get into this fight, the fight that was going on with Keke. He tried to put his name in there so that it made us be nosy and look at what was going on with him based on what Keke's mom said. So he got a lot of paperwork. But like I told you guys, California charges for real for them documents. So we'll see how we do tonight if I'm going to go ahead and get them documents. we go over all the allegations that allegedly, from what I'm hearing, Saronis' baby mama has to say about Saronis Jackson. I heard it was pretty good, but we'll see. We're going to see how this stuff goes tonight because, like I said, them documents ain't no joke in California. They don't do the 10 cent. They don't do, like Pacer. They really try to, tax you or whatever. But I guess everything's expensive in Cali, so I get it. So, yeah, 6 minutes to tell you guys all the stuff we're going over. So, you guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And yeah, welcome to everyone. If you have not been here before, we the Intellects would like to welcome you. You are officially an Intellect as soon as you subscribe. You are officially. Thank you, Trudy, for the Cash App. I appreciate it. We welcome you. If you are the day one, I appreciate you. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate all the people that brought t-shirts from the membership section. We do have tumblers. I'll get to that maybe this weekend. These are the tumblers. If anybody is interested in these, bam. Aren't those nice? Aren't those nice? And they have the top, and then they have, the straws are in a bag. So they come with that, and they come with the straw. This is the tumbler. So I'll try to get that up on the site. But yeah. So that's that, guys. And I'll re-up on the t-shirts maybe next week. So that is all of the announcements for today. Let's get into it. So let's start out, like I said, with the Gardner case versus Sean Combs and Aaron Hall. So we went over this case. This is the one where she's alleging that there was she was assaulted by both Diddy and Aaron Hall. But what was interesting is, again, when she added her name, for some reason, the attorney decided to put that Liza Gardner is a Caucasian female and a United States citizen who was at all times and relevant a resident and domiciled in the state of North Carolina. I don't know why we had to know that she was a Caucasian female. What was the point of knowing that? But yeah, thank you so much, M. Kier. I appreciate that. Y'all done pretty much paid for them documents already, but I'll take any donations. Of course, it's not mandatory. I just want you guys to hit the like button so I can be in the algorithm. Thank you so much. Then when it goes to Aaron Hall, it has this is what was added. Hall is a United States citizen and was at all relevant times, a resident of and domiciled in the state of New York. Upon information and belief, Hall has bragged about his sexual promiscuity and the fact he has engaged in sexual intercourse with minors. You talking about self-snitching, like what? Hall also confirmed Combs' presence in the room. If you guys recall, I put the link from when Aaron Hall, and you guys have probably seen this wild interview by now, when he did the interview and he talked about how he liked people to watch him and he done it in front of Diddy and all. He did kind of help them a tad bit, to make the little case a little believable by saying that. So it says, Hall also confirmed Combs' presence in the room, which he engaged in these acts. Hall's disgusting claims are eerily similar, if not identical, to the trauma he and Combs visited upon plaintiff Gardner. So it's almost like they're using Aaron Hall's bragging like this what he was talking about or referring to was so identical to this case that heck, it could have been this case. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, what? You said Murray Wright buying some pages. Thank you, Diamond Pearl Jim. I appreciate the super chat. And so, yeah, so those were added, which I thought was interesting. But at the bottom, okay, the facts were pretty much the same. We read them again the last time. Very brief. But at the bottom, what they also did was because as you see, the lawsuit is against Sean Combs, Aaron Hall, MCA Inc., MCA Music Entertainment Group, Geffen Records, John and Jane Doe 1 through 10, and ABC Corps 1 through 10. So what they did was this attorney also placed a preservation notice. What you do with that is when you know that you're going to file a lawsuit, typically you'll do it. Well, I do it before I even file. Like when I know that it may be a claim, you send it to the individuals, the corporations, whoever that you're suing, and you say, listen, you better not destroy anything. You better preserve all your hard drives. Don't try to clean anything because, you know, you can tell if computers have been cleaned or whatever. Videotapes, baby, don't try to throw them over there in the Hudson River. All of that. Like you tell them you are demanded to preserve it. And if they don't preserve these documents or preserve whatever you ask them to preserve, you can request that the court give a jury instruction that basically says that that is almost a consciousness of guilt. That's evidence that something would have been wrong in that document or something would have been wrong in that computer, for example. And that's the reason why they destroyed it. And they say that it's a jury instruction where the jury can make that inference that because they destroyed it, you can infer that something incriminated them. So we hadn't seen anybody really do a preservation notice in any of the other lawsuits, but this attorney did, which I think was brilliant, especially because there were corporations that were in it. Another thing they did was they immediately requested, and I'm not going to read all the preservation because that's pretty much, they did a demand for insurance coverage. So people were asking me about this in the chat, so I figured it was worth talking about. So it has defendants are demanded to provide a complete copy of their applicable insurance policies and declaration sheets demonstrating coverage within 30 days of service of this complaint. So, as you guys know, a lot of businesses, they have insurance, just like you have your homeowner's insurance, you have your auto insurance, you have insurance that may cover you for these types of claims and allegations. Depending on what it says, because you do have some policies that say they're not going to cover certain things like intentional type torts, which is what this would be, or whatever. You have to make sure that it's carved out. You have umbrella policies or whatever. So the corporation, so when you sue corporations, you know, it's not like it's coming out of somebody's pocket. It's a corporation. Typically, it's an insurance policy. As individuals, some people get insurance policies. As attorneys, we have insurance policies for, you know, legal malpractice insurance. So if a client has an issue, you blew a statute, you did something that was wrong and you adversely affected their case, then they can try to sue you for it. The way it goes is similar to like an auto accident. If I get sued, then my insurance, they're supposed to get an attorney on my behalf. Now, your name is still on the pleading. Like Sean Diddy Combs is still going to be on the pleading, but you don't know that that insurance company is really the one who is covering everything. So, like, if somebody sued me, my name would be on the pleading as a lawyer. Like, they would sue Pam, but my insurance company would be the one that hires a defense attorney and also may indemnify me, meaning pay whatever judgment, if any, that comes out of it. So this person is asking to see, probably before they even demand any money, we want to see what your limits are. You do that in auto accidents. If you're an attorney that do auto accidents, you're like, listen, my client is all broke up. What's your policy limits? Because individuals oftentimes don't have the money that you're asking for. So you go see what the policy limits are, and then sometimes you can, you'll gauge what you're gonna ask for based on their policies. So Diddy should have a large policy. You know what, Denise D? I don't know. You said, so did insurance mainly pay Cassie? I'm not, as fast as that happened, usually it doesn't work that way with insurance. That happened like literally in theory. Diddy was never served and was never a part of a lawsuit. You get what I'm saying? So how it happened was the lawsuit was filed. In federal court, you have to wait for the court to generate a summons. You cannot serve anybody until you have a summons generated by the court so that you can apprise the other party. You have to serve them with the summons and the complaint, because the summons give you information on when you have to respond, what time you have, and what the consequences are if you choose not to respond. In that case, it never got that far. So I don't see how, unless there were talks prior to or whatever, because insurance companies could come in before you file. That happens as well. When you have accidents and all of that, insurance companies, when people just file regular claims and they do it before litigation, that can happen. So I would say I would guess, of course, I'm guessing because I wasn't there and I wasn't a part of anything, but I would guess that if he had already contacted his insurance company, if he had insurance, if he already contacted his insurance company and say, look, this chick is trying to sue me, these other people trying to sue me, and I'm letting you know and putting you up on that. So then he would give, maybe whoever the insurance person is, he would give their information to the attorney that's representing that person. They may have done their own negotiations back and forth. That's why I said a lot of this stuff, unless you're a part of it, you really don't know. We're just speculating. So it may not have came out of Diddy's pocket. It could have been from an insurance claim. We don't know. Or it may have been Diddy didn't want to, because you do got some people too where they're like, I don't want my insurance to go up, so I'll just pay it out of my pocket. I'm not going to make a claim. And we know plenty of people that have done that. People get in car accidents. They're like, hey, bro, can I get your number? Because I don't want my insurance to go up, so I could just pay for that little scratch that I did by side swiping you. So he may have just paid it. It could go either way. We just don't know. Like at this point, we're just speculating. And then that's the thing about a release. That's why when people are saying things like, I heard the $30 million, it's an undisclosed amount. You don't know what it is. Okay. We can try to guess that if she wouldn't take 30 million, and she probably would have gotten more if she sued and put all her business out there. If she could have got 30 million without putting her life out there, then we could all presume she probably got more, but we don't know. I've heard, of course, since he's still saying I vehemently deny all allegations, I'm pretty certain that's in whatever the settlement agreement is. He probably he is not admitting fault to anything. So he has not admitted fault, because you can tell that just from the statement from his lawyer. And you also have people ask me about NDAs. When you have celebrity type settlements, this has been my experience. Again, I didn't look at their settlement agreement, but I think Diddy's attorney I can't see them not putting it in there. I've had big schools that were popular that I've sued, and they had it in there, where you can't disparage them. You can't talk about them in public. You can't talk about what happened. You can't talk to the media. All you can say is, one of the cases I had with somebody I represented, we actually sat down and we agreed to what we would even say to the public. These are high profile people with high profile attorneys. If I do this at my level, I'm pretty sure they do it at a whole different level. So I don't see it where, Cassie is just going to come out tomorrow and just start telling everything that she knows, because I'm pretty sure that would be, regardless. I don't have any people talk about NDAs like when she worked for him and all that. That has nothing to do with the settlement agreement, which may say you cannot talk about these claims. Cannot not? Maybe she can talk about something else. But when it comes to this right here, you can't talk about. That's usually what's in a settlement agreement. But again, we're just speculating because we haven't seen it. Okay. Hopefully this answers a lot of your questions, because you guys asked these questions in the chat and I tried to answer. You guys, make sure you hit the like button, please, for me. I appreciate it. You said Cassie sued the companies too. The board of those companies were at the FOs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she sued the companies as she should have. I mean, most of the time when you sue, you pretty much sue everybody you think that might. If he took me to any of his events and did this and you were acting in the scope of employment, I'm gonna sue your boss. I'm gonna sue your company. You sue where the pockets are. It doesn't make sense. That's just like if you find out somebody hit you with a car and they're a teenager and they don't have insurance and you already know they don't have anything. Do you really go through the expense of trying to litigate against a uncollectible judgment? So every time as an attorney, you try to that's why you have complaints with a bunch of people, entities, John and Jane Doe's, corporations, A, B, C, D, and E, because you're trying to find where the money resides. How can I get them on the hook? Because I need the biggest pockets. Diamond Pearl Gem says, so she can be caught as a witness for someone else. She can be caught in the settlement agreements with anything. It has on there that if any part of this settlement agreement is illegal, then we just take out that part. Things that are non-disclosed, you can only disclose it at the prompting of a court or your subpoena to do it or something like that. So generally, I would say yes, but of course, there's always exceptions to that rule. You said driver C said after 20 years of grind, I'm going to put my rap career on hold. Okay. If Puffy's insurance company paid it, wouldn't that give them access to the details for the insurance company's records for the payout? If so, that's why I think Puffy paid it. Yeah, they would have to have requested the insurance policy. Honestly, there's some insurance companies that won't even give you their policies or tell you their limits prior to a lawsuit too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Or that they have to ask their boss if it's okay, because they know you want to know their policy limit. Because if it's $100 million, I'm not asking for 1 million. I mean, so they know. But there's insurance companies are a business for profit, so they're not trying to pay out as much as the limit is. They're trying to pay out as less as they can. So you have some insurance policies that may not even told them what their limits are, because they don't have to turn it over to you at all unless their client gives them permission, or they give them permission. Sometimes you can get a cool adjuster or something that'll give it to you, but sometimes they won't tell you. And when that happens, you have to sue in order to get it, because as soon as you file a lawsuit, they have to turn it over. That's in pretty much every court rule. That's one of the initial disclosures they have to give you. You said Denise D said in the meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers are like, nah, bro, that was yesterday, right? But I'm just saying, let's just logically thinking. Let's just assume the $30 million number was accurate. We don't even know if it's accurate. Things are out here in these streets on the internet, and we don't know what's true and what's not true. But assuming that is accurate, if I would take 30 million, if I would have taken $30 million, I would have done that before I put all this man's business out here, put all my business out here for people to look at me, however, or be vulnerable to the public and a bunch of people you don't know. Knowing the repercussions that may or may not happen dealing with Diddy, knowing that Diddy was going to take fallout and he was going to have repercussions. For her to file that complaint, that was a lot. She might have been all the way on an island when that attorney was press play and hit send to that electronic filing, because that's a lot. That was a lot how it happened. It shook up the internet. Everybody talked about it immediately. We had, as soon as it was filed, we was talking about it. I mean, everybody was talking about this lawsuit. So I don't see her, if assuming $30 million was on the table, I don't see her taking less than that. That doesn't make any common sense. If I could have got $30 million before filing, why would I still take $30 million after I put all my business out there? And I could have got $30 million and I said nothing. And nobody know that you had me out here basically prostituting allegedly. Or that you was beating my behind allegedly and all the other allegations that she had in there. I could have just kept that and nobody knew about it. And you know what I'm saying? So I see it being more. That's just my opinion. Man, listen. Driver C said, why wouldn't insurance tell you their limit? Well, if they know that, like, for instance, if my client's damages are $500,000, but their client only has a $50,000 limit, why wouldn't they tell you? So they're letting you know, listen, we only have a $50,000 limit. We know that your client is entitled to the entire limit because, you know, it's worth way more. So sometimes they will tell you. Depends on the circumstance, because otherwise you can go after if somebody else has assets and the limits are low, you can go after their assets too. But on an average, from an average person, I mean, usually the insurance company, the insurance policy, that's why you have it, is what covers your situation. But yeah, hit that like. You said Diddy empire is crumbling. Yeah, so then, guys, see, we already spent 26 minutes. We spent too much time on Liza already, but I hope you guys, your questions were answered. So then we were talking about Roger Bond, right? So then I posted, and you guys were just giving him all kind of grief with his grammatical errors when he, on the same day that on Tuesday, he put up a post, and this was the post. He said, and I'm going to read this just as it is. He said, and this is what you guys said. When they said at one time I would have Tukin, they was like, I can't read no more. People was like, I can't read. But what I've noticed reading a lot of this stuff is a lot of these people must have been really on the road and really into their crafts or whatever they were doing, because English, learning punctuations, like all these they do long paragraphs with no periods. I mean, misspelling, grammar. It's just, we just got to read through the lines. But I'm going to read it just as it is. But just know that I know how to read. And I know how to properly formulate a sentence as well. So he says, at one time, I would have taken a bullet for this man, and those that know me know that's true. What happened? Not what happened. He said, what happened? People say, yo, why you saying that? Why you doing this? One reason is because you can't do nothing else unless you want to end up in jail. Nobody worried about their kids when I had them. I mean, nobody. Where is the loyalty at when it's my son? Remember I told you guys when he started posting about his son, I was like, I'm not saying he won't eventually say something, but I think he really needs the help, and he's almost utilizing this as a reason to get the help that he felt like he deserved, I guess. I don't know. He said, you want me to have loyalty to someone who couldn't tell me, here's 100,000. I may not can go, but I ran sure can make sure he has a legal team. But I'll give some strangers 3 million. And what he's referring to, if you look on my community wall, is Diddy has given checks to like universities or whatnot, like when he's giving his donations. So he's saying, you couldn't give me the money. And then he actually posted Diddy giving these donations to these nonprofits, and he had a problem with it. Miss Cinnamon, it's okay. I know, Miss Cinnamon. I know. Diddy, you said Diddy like to do for show. That's what Yolanda said. Driver's seat says so. Diddy was supposed to give every hourly wage employee a lump sum payout. No, I think what he's saying is you're giving out millions to strangers, but people that have been the keeper of your secrets, people that were willing to die for you, because as security, that's really what you're, just like Secret Service with the president. You're saying, I'm willing. If somebody looks like I'm standing there looking around with my stoic face and I'm looking around at somebody that might be trying to aim a bullet at you, and that means I'm going to tackle you and basically take it. So he's saying at one point I would have taken a bullet for you. And he said, but you couldn't give $100,000 for a legal team for his son, who is in Africa right now fighting to get out. It's alleged that he unalived somebody. He's trying to get up out of there. He said he didn't do it. They don't have no evidence. They don't have no DNA. They have zero evidence. But his son been over there in Africa for 13 years. And he said you could have gave $100,000 or made sure he has a legal team. So then he said, but you gave some strangers $3 million. He said, F out of here. My truth, my story, my life. 2 faces, hashtag coming soon. Oh, you didn't think I would talk about it? Well, watch me. So he was making some type of, subs that he was going to talk about it. Then he started making more video. This is all happening while we were live on Tuesday. Then he started making these videos. Let me see. Here's one of them.
There's a lot of people who say I got fired. Anybody know I didn't get fired? There's a lot of people who say that I'm upset and I'm mad. Nah. For a lot of people who know me and a lot of people see me, first of all, I was diagnosed with diabetes. That was the first thing. I used that excuse as being diagnosed with diabetes as to be one of the reasons that I didn't want to be around Puff no more. Because I just didn't want to be around him no more. When you start waking up in the morning and you sick about where you at and you sick about being at work and things like that, and the door opens where you got an excuse that you can use to get away from somebody, that was my excuse. I got diabetes. And I went over to Ciroc, where I was happy. I was with my family. Because there was so many things wrong. There was so many things wrong with where I was at. It was so sickening. So, it's so many things that I seen Cassie go through. And there's so many things I seen other people go through. And I would speak on those things. Same way Cassie said. I would stop those things. But when you speak into individuals and you tell them, yo, you don't have to deal with this. Yo. And I'm not even talking about Cassie, just individuals. You don't have to deal with this. Or why do you deal with this? And they choose to deal with it, then you think they enjoy it. But when I got up out of there, people started saying, yo, I see you smile now. Yo, your skin looks different. So when I woke up that morning and I seen that Cassie had finally had enough, that was one of the happiest days of my life. But we'll talk about that later. Salute the general.
So that's what he had to say. He basically said, he made excuses not to be around because of how he was. You said he used diabetes. That's what he said. He said he used his diabetes as an excuse. He would call and say, Diddy, I can't even do it today because I'm ill. Ultimate angina says 70% of Black people have diabetes, sir. Not Olivia Pope saying a cap. Olivia Pope, you can't say cap just by that name. Yolanda. Not the sugars. He said my sugar's up. I can't stand y'all. I'm trying to be serious here. Denise D said he could have took it. trying to stay out these comments. Oh my God. Silent Sister said he got transferred to the liquor department. Yeah, because people in his chat was saying he was like going hard to help promote Ciroc. So maybe that is true. He was like, I remember how you was going hard to promote Ciroc. I gotta get a new sticker. I'm gonna have a new thing that say Toucan. Oh God. So then he had another video, right? That came out momentarily, not too long after that. And this is what he had to say.
But if you're not waking up happy, or if you disgruntled, or you...
Wait a minute, let's go back.
Comes a time when you're in a situation that may seem like a good situation, but if you're not waking up happy, or if you disgruntled, or you really don't want to be around that person, you find every excuse to get out of there. And I got diabetes. So my excuse was, I can't be with you every day. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm losing weight. I'm doing that. But in reality, it was, I was sick. I was sick of you. I was sick of everything that was going on around you. I was sick of having to cover up everything that you did. I was sick. Cassie spoke on it. She said, yeah, I jumped on it. I jumped in between it. That wasn't the only time. It was other times. And it was other people.
Did you guys hear that? He said he mentioned the lawsuit where Cassie said that he tried to break up a fight, but shoot, according to Cassie, you couldn't do it though, sir. She said you tried your best, but it just didn't work. So he said he's done this for Cassie on more than one occasion, allegedly. And he said he also has done it for other people. Let's play that back. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all.
There comes a time when you're in a situation that may seem like a good situation, but if you're not waking up happy, or if you disgruntled, or you really don't want to be around that person, you find every excuse to get out of there. And I got diabetes. So my excuse was, I can't be with you every day. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm losing weight. I'm doing that. But in reality, it was, I was sick. I was sick of you. I was sick of everything that was going on around you. I was sick of having to cover up everything that you did. I was sick. Cassie spoke on it. She said, yeah, I jumped on it. I jumped in between it. That wasn't the only time. It was other times. And it was other people.
So listen, guys. After this happened, the internet was shooketh again this morning. I'm trying to work. And people sending me stuff where, let me see, the first person that sent, because y'all, I thank you guys for the DMs. You guys keep me in the know. But it had from the neighborhood talk, it had Diddy's former bodyguard's Instagram disappears amid a meeting, admitting he allegedly saw Diddy assault multiple people. Then I looked, right? There was another post, and this is why I need people to like use their common sense sometimes. So then there was another post where one of the bloggers put Diddy took down Roger Bond's page and said he had to start a whole new page. So then they actually put the link there of this alleged new page. And I just knew right there. And I was like, oh, this is just somebody who's trying to come up off of it. So somebody randomly probably created a page. And I was like, if you go there, they're probably going to have some YouTube link and they're going to be some up and coming artists or something. So you can click on their YouTube and get them more views or something. So they had on there, Diddy took down my page. I wonder if it's still up. The person they saying was the new page. It had Diddy took down my page. So I had to start. So they did the real Roger Bond. They did the real Roger Bonds. And then this is what they had, right? So they like changed it and they did like an underscore. So then they had basically, if I get to 1,000, then I'm going to go live. Then they got a link to like another YouTube. So I was like, that probably ain't even him. He probably took his own page down. So I sat back and I waited just to see like what was gonna happen. And sure enough, before we went on now he did private his page. So if you weren't following him before, you won't be following him now unless he accepts your request. So he did a video on his regular page like 20 minutes before we went live. So he might have took it down for a minute and put it back up. I don't know what happened, but he didn't say that that's what happened, that Diddy took his page down. Everything's a possibility, you know, but you know, it sounds like to me that he just didn't have it, you know, up or whatever. But his regular page is back up. So this is
so evil, but you know, I ain't feed off that energy, man. I try to make it smile before I leave, because you gotta be here. You gotta be here anyway. So you gotta be here. You might as well be happy while you're here. Salute, man. I want you to have a blessed day.
So that's him. He's at work. For y'all that's looking for him, thinking that he didn't hit them and put out on them or something. He's at work. Apparently, he must have checked his levels and everything was good today. But he's at work right now. And he said, everybody, you got to do what you got to do. And he's like, I'm blessed and I'm working. Okay, that's what he said. So I don't know where this came from, just because I guess they said his whole page disappeared. I think he may have took it down for a minute. I don't know what he did, but hey, Miss Parker, thank you for the $5 super chat. You said he's the type of person when a death is announced on social media, the person wants everyone to know they were connected to the deceased coattail. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, and it's not just him, in my opinion, that is just capitalizing somewhat. And that's not to take away that you experience things or any of that. But you have to admit that some of these people are really capitalizing off of what Cassie had done. And that's why, in my opinion, people were upset that she stopped talking about it, because she was more known, and we seen her on Diddy, and we looked at her at a higher echelon than an Aubrey from Danity Kane, or even Gloria Valez, that we just know. Apparently she was a video chick, and she was Aaron Hall's baby mama. I never knew who she was till all of this stuff came out, you know. So that's not to say other people didn't know who she was, but I'm just saying, like, she wasn't a Cassie. So their presence and them talking about it wouldn't have had the same effect. So I think because she got what she got and it looked like she just went away with her life, people kind of wanted her to be almost the Martin Luther King of the movement. You know, you go ahead and you take the stabbing in the chest. You take that bullet over there on top of at the Lorraine Motel, like, you the ones to take it all, like you are the leader of this, and they were going to all go behind her. That's what it feels like to me, and that's why I think a lot of people got upset. But we have, okay, somebody brought up Gene Deal been talking about Diddy for decades and never stopped. I trust him more than Roger. Well, our girl Gloria Valez, she said some of the stuff Gene said was not the truth. That is one of the things we are going to discuss. So we'll get to Gloria Valez. For those of you that don't know who she is, she's also been posting a lot since all of this stuff happened with Diddy. And she's been posting. People have told her since she started coming out, talking about what was happening back in the day. Oh, I was 16. I was with such and such too. I remember them days. Them grown men groomed us. Keep going. So as they're DMing her and saying things to her, she's putting them in her stories. She's about to write a book. Excuse me. I guess she was in the works of writing a book anyway, but she's screenshotting and she's putting voice memos and stuff for people that's talking, you know, saying whatever. So we all know about Luke. I talked about the situation with Luke. Luke had another painful statement where he was trying to defend himself, talking about you had to be 21 to be a Luke dancer. Gloria Valez is lying. She gonna mess around and catch these lawsuits. He ain't Russell Simmons or none of them. You ain't gonna lie on him like that. All of that. And then everybody was in the comments like, what you talking about? You gotta be with your parent to travel at 21. And everybody in the comments was saying they experienced and said that Luke was lying and all of that. Well, apparently the threats of a lawsuit does not matter to Gloria Valez because she has not stopped talking. She has not stopped screenshotting and putting in the comments. So she had a video because everybody saw that crazy interview, like I mentioned earlier, with Aaron Hall. And so I'm not going to put the video because Vlad don't be feeling you. You can go ahead and try to get your page flag messing with them. But she says, let me make this clear. I've never lied about my age. I meet my first groomers in a teen club and dance on tour as a backup dancer, 14 years of age. I only started to dance in a strip club at 18 years old to pay for lawyers for my child in court. So apparently she was going through some type of custody battle with Aaron Hall. So then she says, I had a restraining order on Aaron Hall. I wanted nothing to do with him. He almost killed me a few times in my life, and he was trying to take my baby. I fought hard and won. In my book, you'll see all I've endured. So that was one of the posts that she had. Then, so yeah, she been up here posting. So you guys got me up here screenshotting and snapping everything everybody's saying because you know they take it down. They don't keep half the stuff up. Joey Seating, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. SMLE 34 said Gene's been taught. He has remained consistent, unknown motive, but still consistent. Okay. We're going to get to what she said about Gene. She said, let's see. Was this the one? Let me see. Okay. So this was the same. This was like what I first read to you was a comment that was under this post. So this is a video as you see the clown. And look at this. Look at that. Look at him looking like a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on Vlad TV. So she says, demons always tell on themselves. Radio interviews and podcast shows, etc. Lots of evidence. Half a paren. You guys see, there's no closed paren right there. It's just a half a paren. I've never had a conversation with Diddy's bodyguard. So I don't know. I have not watched all of what Gene has said. So I don't know what Gene, because obviously Roger ain't said much. He been talking in subliminals. And he just came out after the lawsuit. So Gene, I will presume, is who she's talking about. So she's saying that basically whatever he's saying about her is not true. She said, I've never had a conversation with Diddy's bodyguard. He's a liar. He will say anything to keep doing interviews and possibly even getting a check in the process. So I don't know what he said. So you guys can go and research and figure out what the heck Gene said about Gloria Valez. But Aaron already told on himself on Vlad. Umbilical cord, biatch, I am, huh? So that was the actual post before the comment that I read. So she's talking about, yeah, Olivia. It was real wild. He was talking so much, just like that lawsuit we read in the beginning that's against Aaron Hall and Diddy. You really were kind of like giving them a little ammo against you. They're going to use that video against you. F.E. Gray said, Gloria has stated that she and Aaron made up, and it doesn't seem like she sees herself as a victim. Cassie hasn't spoke out publicly. Her court documents is her voice, and she said she was abused. Yeah. Yolanda said, yep, Gene loves staying in someone's couch. Say regurgitated. Miss Parker said he said that Aaron tried to take her to Cancun. When they got to customs, he realized she was a minor because she had to show her passport. Thank you, Miss Parker. Okay. See, I knew somebody was going to tell me what was up. I appreciate that. So you hear what Miss Parker said. She said Jean said that Aaron tried to take Gloria to Cancun. And when they got to customs, he realized she was a minor because she had to show her passport. She's saying it's not true. She never lied about her age. Chandra said Jean Deal ain't never lied about nothing. Okay. Said Aaron was sweating like he was in detox. So what'd he do? Like once he found out how old she was, what he said, F it. Like, how did that go? So after that, they still went to Cancun? Was she already pregnant then? Like, now I need more information. I know it's all alleged. We weren't there, but you know, we take ourselves back to the 90s every now and then on this platform. That's what we've been doing since we've been covering these cases. Right. I just want to know, like, what happened after he said, nah, buddy, I can't do it. Or did he just say, age ain't nothing but a number? Like, what happened? Stop messing with her as soon as he found out her age. Now, you should have. Okay. Lunar Brain said it was Jamaica, not Cancun. Okay. Spacey Stacy said the trip was already booked. Can't get the deposit back. You can't get your freedom back neither if they would have locked them up. Lose a couple of dollars and I'm a celebrity and I can get it back, and it's probably a tax deduction or go to jail. Decisions. Like, where were the parents of these juveniles? Well, she said she was, you know what? I've heard so much. It sounds wild to us, especially if you had a certain type of parent. But I've heard similar stories from people. Like, I know someone who was 14 and they were working in a bar as a barmaid. So, of course, people that are 21 are the ones that's usually in there drinking because they do make them show ID for that. She lied about her age, I guess, to get into there and work, and you working off tips. So they probably didn't really do no background. And she ended up with somebody that was like 30 and she was 14, and she been with him ever since. They're older now, you know, like he probably 70 and whatever. But when she told that story, I'm like, what your mama saying? She was just one of those people that didn't really listen to her mom. So she went and she left home at like 13 and went and got a job. So you said she didn't have to show ID. Okay. Yolanda said Aaron said in the interview he slept with her within 3 days. Meanwhile, he didn't ask her age before the trip or having a child with her. Yeah, she said in the interview, he said in the interview that people wanted to talk to her, but they act like they were scared. He just grabbed her because he had a speech impediment, so he didn't like talking. So he just grabbed her. And I don't know if she's debunked that or said that whole rendition wasn't true. But yeah, he basically put her out there like that. And that interview, I think, because it happened years ago, like 7 years ago or something, she did say that they were in a good place because he did call, I guess once it went viral a few years back, he called her and I guess he apologized and all of that. So they're supposed to be in a better place, like somebody said. But you know, that's not it. She also was posting, see if I can find this video she posted. Well, it was just a voice, it was a voice memo that I guess somebody sent her, and she's talking about Luke. Like, Luke done said he gonna sue you if you keep talking, and she like, she don't care. Because people are sending her stuff. Again, all of this stuff is allegedly. This is what people are saying. And Luke has been adamant that he has never been with nobody that was underage. But in her comments and stuff, it's been people that she's reposting with all these alleged stories. Now, the problem with the internet is you can't verify these people. You can be anybody you want to be. You can change your name to whatever name you want it to be, unless somebody is just that deep that they want to like track you down and figure out who you are. But for the most part, you can just be who you want to be. So I take any of this stuff people say with a grain of salt, especially on the internet, because you just don't know what's really true and what's not true. But she did post a voice memo of somebody that she knows that talked to her, and this is what they had to say.
Well, you've been on my mind here a lot lately, especially with like everything that's going on, and I want you to call me. Like if you need any support, if you need me to hold your hand, if you need me to be a witness, I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud that you're sticking up for yourself, because what fucking Luke did was so fucked up. I mean, he caused me a lot of fucking trauma. I was just trying to have fun as a kid, you know. I was just trying to have fun, and he totally fucking took advantage. And it took me a long time to heal for that. So if you need me to hold your hand, to be your witness, to be there for you, I got you a fucking 1,000%. I love you a fucking 1,000%. I love you. Hit me up.
So that was one of the memos that she played of somebody, I guess, that sent her a voice memo in her DMs, and they're alleging that I don't know what they let's listen to it again. This has something to do with Luke, who is denying all this stuff that's coming out about him, that she's putting out about him. It's very interesting.
You've been on my mind here a lot lately, especially with like everything that's going on, and I want you to call me. Like if you need any support, if you need me to hold your hand, if you need me to be a witness, I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud that you're sticking up for yourself, because what fucking Luke did was so fucked up. I mean, he caused me a lot of fucking trauma. I was just trying to have fun as a kid, you know. I was just trying to have fun, and he totally fucking took advantage. And it took me a long time to heal for that. So if you need me to hold your hand, to be your witness, to be there for you, I got you a fucking 1,000%. I love you a fucking 1,000%. I love you. Hit me up.
So that is one of the so if you, I try to follow her as much as I can, but she posts a lot of what other people are alleging they went through, and this is specific to Uncle Luke, which is, it said, Gloria, he said he gonna write them papers. That's what he said. He said it's not true. He got paperwork. He said he videotaped everything. He said he got receipts all the way going back to the 80s. Okay, that's what he said. So I don't know. Kim Johnson said that sounds questionable. She didn't give any detail of her trauma or comment. Yeah, that's what I was playing it for, because in theory, she just said what Luke was doing just wasn't right, but didn't really say anything. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. It sounds like her cousin. You know, y'all so skeptical. Goodness. No, I feel you. It is the internet. Weinstein, Epstein, Masterson, offenders and abuse rings in Hollywood and the music are being trolled in by the feds. Take it. Why would you get a social media platform? You could have called her. I know, right? Because that's what I'm saying. It looks to me like, I don't know, maybe it was from her cell phone or something, and maybe she did a voice text, maybe, and then she decided to record it and put it on Instagram. Maybe that's what happened. But we gotta move on. We can't stay with Gloria all day, but of course, like I said, we're gonna follow all these people. Told you guys it's a lot. I said it's a lot going on. I missed one day because I got to work, and it feel like I've been out the loop for 2 weeks or something. That's how fast this stuff happens. So lastly, guys, I got to talk about Jamie Foxx. So we went over that Jamie Foxx lawsuit. Some of us was looking like, oh, okay. Some of us was, little, it was interesting. But I shared with you guys before about the whole pseudo name that you don't automatically get to go by Jane Doe. That's why I was talking about when the person that is suing Puffy and Aaron Hall, they went in as Jane Doe originally, and then she put her name on there. She put a face to it, put her name. They described her as being Caucasian and all that. So apparently the young lady who is going against Jamie Foxx wants to remain Jane Doe. So in order to do that, she had to file a motion with the court, a motion to show cause, and they have a date coming up, I believe, week after next, to see if she can still go through this whole process being Jane Doe. But the court you have to give the court reason to be able to go as a Jane Doe. So she has filed with the court her rationale for believing that she is entitled to go through as Jane Doe versus Eric Marlon Bishop, aka Jamie Foxx. So she said, Jane Doe, being duly sworn, deposes and states, I am the plaintiff herein, and I am fully familiar with the facts and circumstances as well as the pleadings and proceedings in this matter. I submit this affidavit in further support of my application authorizing me, the plaintiff in this case, to proceed under and be referred to in all papers by the pseudonym Jane Doe. I was sexually assaulted as indicated in the complaint, and as a result, I suffered psychological and emotional injuries. I do not desire to publicly disclose my identity as a victim of sexual assault because this matter is highly sensitive, and I have already experienced significant shock, shame, and embarrassment due to the mental impact of the assault. And I fear retaliation by others in the community for my disclosure due to the prominence and celebrity status of the defendants. This case has already been on every major news outlet and has caused me to fear for my safety, given the fame of defendant. It was very difficult for me to come forward and talk about the events that occurred. The essay I suffered has caused depression, anxiety, lack of sleep, distress, and I am fearful that public disclosure will cause further emotional trauma. I do not want to bear the stigma that is associated with being an SA victim. This is a private and sensitive matter, and I wish to keep it that way. I understand that through the course of litigation, I will have to share my identity with the defendants, and I am willing to do that. I just don't want my name to be in any public filings or in the public at all. I have thoroughly reviewed the application for relief that is being requested of this court and find same to be true and accurate. I hereby join on my attorney's request for relief that no previous application has been made for the relief requested herein, that I respectfully request that the application for use of pseudonym be granted, and that this court grant any other remedy this court deems proper. So, listen. So what happened is, of course, like I told you guys before, the court has to hear this. And until then, she will be able to file whatever as Jane Doe. And then the defendant is ordered not to put her name out there or say who she is. And it might have been where she kind of wanted to get this. If it is true that this was filed before, like Jamie Foxx is saying, that would mean Jamie Foxx knows who it is. So they probably want to make sure the court gives the instructions that her name can't be released. I'm wondering if she was Jane Doe in the other alleged case, but I wasn't able to just readily find it, so I don't have that information for you guys. So let me go check some of your comments. It's been an hour. I think I did good today. I think they're going to make her reveal her name. At least the defense will try. I'm sure the defense will try. And if they can actually show that there was another case before, yeah. Yep. Yes, they have to tell Jamie. I mean, Jamie ain't gonna know how to fight it if he doesn't know. But if they're under a pseudonym, that means that when they file stuff, they can't mention her name. Everything has to be Jane Doe. He can't, when publicist comes out and says, I vehemently deny each and every allegation. This girl is a liar. She lied back in 1975 or whatever they say to the public in order to preserve his image. You can't say her name to me. See, she's worried that her name will be out there and people look at the complaint and look like, because remember, that was the kind of iffy sounding complaint. But we'll see, like, where it goes. We'll see where it goes. If they beef it up and whatever happens or whatever. You said she wishes to stay private and public. Pretty much, Kim Johnson. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Yes, happy. Well, it's not your birthday yet, Dev. You got a couple more hours. Yeah. You said, what about being able to face your accuser? How can you fully defend yourself against the Jane Doe? I could see having a closed trial or mediation. I probably answered your question already before I got to it. He will have the advantage of knowing who it is. We just won't, because as you see, we can just pull these documents down, and that's that. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button. I want you guys, hopefully you guys are all caught up. I stayed on task. I did not go back. We didn't go reminisce on all the lyrics, all the songs. Y'all were sending me pictures with Aaron Hall. I'm like, why does everybody have a picture with Aaron Hall? Like, is Aaron Hall like everywhere? Everybody got pictures with Aaron Hall, and they was DMing me these pictures. I'm like, how did everybody meet Aaron Hall? What's up with that? He was that accessible? Everybody was, and they still got them. I'm like, did you guys get these from the Polaroid camera? Like, where did these pictures come from? You guys are screenshotting old pictures from showing me he don't have a navel. I'm just like, you guys are too funny. I guess they're like, you always say you want evidence. Where's your authority? Here's my authority for my comment. I do say that. I am guilty of saying that. So thank you so much for showing me that you were being honest in the comment. See what I'm saying? Kim Johnson said I actually have two pics with Aaron Hall. Oh my goodness. We were at the concerts. They were accessible. Okay. Well, thank you guys for the pictures. You guys keep the pictures and the evidence coming. We will go through it. Of course, we are the social media jurors, if you don't know. And so we try to get all the evidence, and we hear both sides. We try to be as unbiased as possible. Now, for all of you guys that have been following the Ernesto Williams, Shirley Strawberry case, it hasn't been much going on in his actual case, so I haven't really been talking about him lately. It's been all about this whole statute and Diddy and all of that. But if you guys are not subscribed to Phone Calls from Prison, y'all missing out, because those phone calls are very entertaining at times. Now, I don't watch it. I don't get to catch all of them, but the ones that's been the last couple of days with Dre, and then allegedly, well, it ain't even allegedly, because the lady done said it. They done went on Tasha K. So apparently Sonia, who is Nesto's friend, she was at Tasha K's to go do an interview, and then Nesto called in. So he actually is going to be a part of that interview as well. Yes, the one with Dre was hilarious. He's that friend in your ear that everybody needs. So we appreciate Dre. Dre, if you watching, we appreciate you, buddy. But yeah. Dre was like, I want to see you get up out of this, partner. No, buddy. You was talking about a titty. Like, no, That thing was funny. I think what Nesto needs to do is they're telling him piecemeal about some of them videos. And this is how you know he's not always honest, in my opinion, because he's leaving out things I think that he believes we never heard. So, like, because it was presented to him that that's all he talked about was her chest or something like that, I think that that's what he's banking on. That's all we heard. So now he's just like, okay, that's cool. But he might want to revisit and go back to that actual phone call. And they might want to thoroughly review it. Because at that time, I think maybe because I played the whole thing. And I think at that time, remember in the beginning with phone calls from prison, they were taking parts of the phone calls. I had a lot of the entire phone calls, but I just wasn't, I wasn't playing like that. It ain't had nothing to do with the case. I wasn't really, and I ain't had time to be going through a bunch of phone calls. That was just not going to happen. So they do the work over there. But I'm wondering this, man, because I feel like I heard a bit more than about some chest on those phone calls. So that part. Wow. What? Okay. I ain't worried about that. Wow. You said he talked about her stuff. She talked about toy. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if I'm like, am I missing something here? Because they keep talking about that. But it was a little bit more to that phone call. Yes. He forgot he had to. See, because he's not listening to the call. So he's going, remember, he got on Sonya for not telling him that he even talked about the chest portion. Remember? He got on Sonya about that. But I'm interested to see this Tasha K, because you know how Tasha K is, man. She ain't gonna have you coming on there unless it's gonna be some type of whatever. So that's why I was like, well, what type of information they gonna get? Because that's not really I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna just proclaim my innocence type of a platform. So it's gonna be interesting. Yes. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for looking out and watching your girl and supporting. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. I'm gonna try to be back tomorrow with the Saronis Jackson. If you guys are interested in those documents, I will get those and see exactly what his baby mama talking about. But all of them are going to court next week, so I presume we'll be talking about them all next week. So we may end up waiting for that, because it seems like when I prepare at least 24 hours in advance to talk about something, and something else happens, and then I have to push it back. Because I was going to talk about even L.A. Reid. He has a lawsuit against him that was filed before even Cassie's. It was filed November 9th. I'll have that lawsuit. L.A. Reid he has an attorney that has entered into his case, and he's going to respond. So he has a response that's going to be due soon. So I was going to go over that when that response came. So it depends on how some of these documents fall. Then, tomorrow, if you guys follow the whole Bishop Whitehead saga, I haven't really talked about him in a while, but that tomorrow, one of the alleged robbers, they are supposed to plead Jawan Anderson. So apparently Jawan Anderson's mama says she's sick of him bringing up her son. And so she inboxed him and said a few choice words, and he decided to do a post, and he's supposed to went live. He probably went live already, but he went live about it, talking about he not going to be bullied and all of that. And so that's a whole nother thing. I actually have the inbox on what she said. But you know, I try to stay, you know, I'm trying to stay away from the it wasn't as deep as he was making it seem in that post. I'm like, dang, what you say? It wasn't even that deep, but I love you back. I love you back. Then it's some things with Whitehead and his lawyer. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we gonna try to fit stuff in. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do it for those that care about some of these people, because some of you guys probably don't even know who he is. I don't care about it or whatever. So Poppy said Cassie sued her employer and boss and the entities that managed her career. Yes, absolutely. But everybody else in their lawsuits, they filed against corporations as well, whether they were artists or not, which is, you know, a good strategy. I think it's a very strategic way for an attorney to, you know, y'all can all get it. Everybody can get it. Somebody gonna pay. But I would presume, of course, I was not in the room, so I don't know. I would presume that when Diddy went, because there's a dismissal of everybody, it wasn't just a dismissal of Diddy. So let's be clear. The whole case was dismissed with prejudice. The entire case. It didn't say to Diddy only. It didn't say to Bad Boys only. It didn't say, so that means that release released everybody from the corporations to Diddy himself. So everybody was released out of that. So you can tell just from the dismissal, because it would have said dismissed with prejudice to Diddy only, or it would have said dismissed with prejudice to Bad Boys only. No, the whole case is dismissed with prejudice. So everybody's out. Yeah, so listen, Russell Simmons got the heck up out of Dodge. He was like, he ain't trying to even be around to see how this thing unfolds. So yeah. Whitehead said he's standing 10 toes down. Nestle said he's standing 10 tall. 10 tall. Why does everybody use 10 toes? I don't like. What other amount of toes are you like? Yeah. You know what? You're probably right. He would not be pleased. He would not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, honorable Thurgood. You said they standing on business. I can't stand y'all with the T.I. Oh, and with T.I., just so you guys know, Tiny came out and said that T.I. is her baby daddy when it comes to King. So everything came out today that allegedly they were trying to say that T.I. was not that boy's daddy. It's like, people come up with anything. I'm like, can y'all just stick? And because of this YouTube channel is the only reason why I scour the internet as much as I do. But most of this stuff, usually somebody used to send it to me, my family or my kids or something. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know. But when I saw that about King, I'm like, so now you guys are questioning paternity? You guys are really questioning paternity? YSL, I don't think I have the capacity to do that. Like, the end of the year is very, very busy for probably all attorneys. You're wrapping things up, trying to settle things. I had a trial set in 2 weeks, but it got moved. Thank God. But for the most part, like, you're really busy trying to get everything together. Then you got to deal with taxes and all that stuff. So I don't know if I can hang with YSL. I've been trying my best to watch it. When I did YNW Melly, that was very draining. Like, it was a lot of times I was just sitting there streaming and I was doing court in the next room. So it was cool, like, to watch it with you guys or whatever. And I may pick certain days, like, say if he testifies and all of that, but to just sit there for like 10 hours and you know, you got the one lawyer, you know, they're doing their job, objecting every 2 minutes and all of that. Like, it's going to take a while to get through this case. You got all those defendants. And but I thought I caught some really good moments today. The defense attorney that did very well, I think Adams, I think is his name, did very well against the officer. So they got some those defense attorneys are giving the prosecutor a run for her money, for sure. Oh yeah, I may do ASAP. I may actually do that. Is that next year? ASAP might be a good one. And it's less, it's just one person. When you're talking about a RICO with all of these people, that trial is going to be probably 6 months. And there are reporters that are going in, like infamous Sylvia, going in every single day, like, you know, like a 9 to 5. So I commend them for that. They should get their props. Dennis Byron is doing that as well. I should get their props for going in there and reporting on it and sitting there, because that's a lot. It takes a lot of time and energy. You said Tyrone Blackburn is the same attorney that persuaded T.I. and Tiny for SA case, super headed by Sabrina Peterson. Okay. There's another, it's a few other cases too that I gotta look into. Because I think Cardi B, there was a case, I think it might be a civil case that she has that's still going on, that's slated for trial or something. Or I think they just moved the trial so they could have time to potentially settle or something. But it seems like YNW Melly Lawyers was going hard. Was it a mistrial on that one? Yep, it was a mistrial. And it's even worse now. Like, they pushed, the trial was supposed to start a month ago, but they got all these different motions. The defense were able to kick off the prosecutor. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because you might have got a better prosecutor than what you had before. But now everybody's filing motions. So it's like 30 motions here, 30 motions there. It's just a lot with the YNW Melly trial. So that's supposed to start February 5th on my birthday. So that trial's supposed to start then. You know what? Don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all are wrong. Don't do that. Don't do that to the young man. It's exhausting just to watch. Imagine being an attorney sitting at that table and you got to actually pay attention to everything. You don't have time to turn around and blow your nose. You don't have time to look at the next. You got to catch everything. You got to be prepared to be on your feet to object. When you have trials like that, usually they've been going on till like late doing these trials. You have, just imagine, like, you go home, you're going to fall out. Then the only way that you're going to be able to prepare for whatever happened the day before for the next day is you get up at 4 a.m. and you prepare. It's like a adrenaline to it when you're a trial attorney. It's an adrenaline. I love the adrenaline to it, but it's very exhausting. It's very tiring. I think shows like Law and Order makes it look way easier than what it is. And that's what it is. I have not tried a case or actually went to trial in the last 2 years. But I used to try cases every single year. It was no year that I went with, you pissed me off, I don't care what you came with, I'm going to trial. We taking it to the mat. I was a take it to the mat type of chick. Child, I started getting older. That energy started getting a little, I was like, what'd you say? Yeah, I'm not going to fight over $1,000. That's okay. I'll take it. Let's just go. Let's just settle. But if you still irritate me now, like, I still sit, I'm saying, like, running my own case, I still sit second chair or something like that to somebody else like now. But to actually be like the lead and head of that, it's been a couple of years. Like before the pandemic, I remember, like, literally it was won the trial right before the pandemic happened. But yeah. Santiago said, I tried to watch YSL case, but opening was too much for me. Yeah, I watched the prosecutor, and then she lost my attention and I started doing something else. So I know that my attention span is not there for this trial like that. Now, if they get certain witnesses on there, because you can still learn. Like, I think they're very seasoned attorneys, and as attorneys, you look at those that have done it longer than you, or that are very good. You look at them as well, and you can learn from them. But like just sitting there for 7-8 hours, like some people are streaming, I ain't gonna be able to do it. I learned from YNW Melly. I'm not gonna try. I'm definitely not gonna stream that. Well, I ain't gonna say definitely, because you never know what I feel like next year. But I don't think I'm gonna do YNW Melly this time. But you said Law and Order do make it seem so simple. We appreciate you and your fam getting us all the info. Thank you, Laverne. I appreciate. I get mad watching Law and Order. I'm just like, it don't happen that way. They'll get mad at me all the time. Like, dang, can we enjoy the show? I'm like, objection. Like, why aren't they objecting? I'm like, dang, it is a TV show. Why do you care? Like, I can't turn it off. Like, literally, I can't turn that off, even when I watch law shows. So I watch more of the reality shows. Like today, there's a show called Accused, Innocent or Guilty. It comes on A&E. Y'all got to check that out. So they really follow defense attorneys, and they follow them to see their day-to-day life. So like the one I watched last week, I think it's one of the first ones that the defense attorney lost, and the girl like went to prison to like for 60 years or something. But it actually shows like them going to the scene, them hiring PIs. Some of the judges let you have cameras in the courtroom, some of them don't. So yeah, it's very, very, I mean, they pack it all in an hour, but it's a very interesting show if anybody is really into watching it, because you see the everyday, you see the frustration when you get that, when the prosecutor just sends you over a bunch of bad facts and you thought you had your case down packed, and then you got to figure out some way to finagle these new bad facts and all of that. Like, it's really interesting. Yeah, check it out, man. It comes on Thursdays. Is it 9 or 10 o'clock East Coast time? Might be 10 o'clock. So let me get up off of here. But yeah, I record the whole series so I can watch it anyway. But then before that, they have a new one called like Interrogation or something. I haven't watched that yet. But I think they like talk about interrogations at the police station or whatever. I haven't watched that. But he got a few good, reality shows. So I can watch those. Watching stuff like Law and Order, it's always on. So if you don't have anything to watch, you always have Law and Order. So when is Law and Order not on some channel? But for the most part, I'm like, it doesn't even happen that way. They sitting up there chilling with judges, going to their houses, going having ex parte communications in the hallways, judge doing motions without court appointments and making random rulings and suppressing motions just randomly anywhere. They be in the bathroom, motion suppressed. It's like, what are you? Don't happen like that. Erica said, y'all look up when Whoopi Goldberg went on child welfare on Law and Order. She spoke for us. I remember that. That's the one? Was she like a yep, I remember that one. Whoopi was on there. And you got Ice T? He got on there and he ain't left. Shoot, he said, shoot, forget the rap game. He got on Law and Order and he's like, he's been on there for years. It's like he was rapping one day, he got on Law and Order. He was supposed to just be like an extra, and he was like a drug dealer or something. So they had to incorporate it when he became long term. They had to incorporate like he was undercover back then, because he actually was just going to be not an extra, but I guess just doing an appearance and not really a recurring actor on there. And then they ended up incorporating him in. But man, he had a lick with Law and Order. That was a lick. Yeah. Eve said, wish we had live trials here in the UK. I'm a volunteer magistrate in London, but we only get live sentencing at the Old Bailey. Child, I need to talk to you, Eve, because I need to know. You think they'll accept me over there in the UK? You think I can get a job, Eve? Just let me know what I need to do. I need to look it up, see how I can get a job over there in the UK. I want to see what happens in other places. Are we more fair here in the United States than over there? You think our laws are more pro people than over there? More freedom, more liberty, more rights? And he said he was just a guest star, then became permanent. Yep. Kim Johnson. Yes, he made it a career. My brother said he can see me in the white wig. In their little robes that they have. That would be dope, man. Eve, I need you to hit me up. I need to come over there and be a shadow and see how that is. I'll go live from the UK. Ice-T went from F the police to I'm getting paid by the police. Right, Laverne. Right. Oh man. I think there's some level of corruption in the system in every country. Oh yeah. All right, y'all. I'm about to get out of here. You said Eve said our courts are closed and secretive. Well, is it secretive because they're not? You a magistrate, so you're not gonna say that. You got your picture on there. Why is it secretive? So you can't have public, like the public. So obviously there's no right to the public seeing the hearings. That is why, like on the call today where Nesto was trying to talk about how that judge records on YouTube and that his attorney should have told her not to record because it's him or something stupid like that. That's not how it works. The public has the right to view the trial, right? Or to view the cases. It's open to the public. You have to actually file a motion to try to do a closed court, even not to let media in and all of that. It's a whole process because they have the right. So when the pandemic came, that became an issue. So what they did to remedy that issue is they streamed it online. But just like in person, they don't let you record it unless, like, when I got permission to get, the Rule 22 to actually record it from the court where the judge signed it. But they don't want you to record it because they actually take it down when they get finished. The point is you get to view it, so it's still open to the public, which is a part of our rights. So you have some attorneys that, like Judge Manning, who kind of garnered somewhat of popularity by doing it online. It's a couple of judges here in Michigan that garner popularity where they have 1,000 people on their court hearings and they're literally just doing their regular dockets. So they still stream it. You can't tell. They're not going to say, oh, for you, Mr. Williams, we're going to block out everything with you on it. But everybody's on Zoom. Like, all their faces are on Zoom. Like, what are you talking about? I just thought that was just ridiculous. Like the attorney didn't do their job because they didn't tell them, make sure you don't put this online. It just so happened that somebody knew who he was, because we weren't checking for it at all. It was just somebody knew who he was, and then they recorded it, and then it went, by all the bloggers, and we all saw it. So then we started actually paying attention to his cases. Yeah, she's a great judge. Judge Manning is dope. In the U.S., everything is public. Any arrest, speeding tickets, other nations actually care about privacy. Okay, the UK Supreme Court hearing sometimes screened live. Okay. Well, in the U, that's not automatically true. You do have some invasion of privacy, but when it comes to certain things like public entities that we as taxpayers pay their bills, we do have freedom of information. So that means that I should be able to, if my governor was emailing someone and I feel like they were in some type of cahoots, I can FOIA and say I need the governor's emails. Or the same thing, with the court, like they're getting paid by tax dollars, government funding. So that's what makes it. Now, if you're a private funding, then maybe that's something different. So as a part, like even with the school board, if your kids are in public school or whatever, you're going to want access to it. Like some of this stuff you do, it's not just courts that you can get public information from. You get public information from any public body. so that a lot of people don't do it, you know, but thank you so much for becoming a new member. Welcome, welcome. I do. Do you know Judge Lanice Bryant? I do. I ain't gonna say I know her. I've been in front of her. Judge Lanice Bryant does a criminal docket at 36th District Court in Detroit. It's in downtown Detroit. I have not been on here for 3 hours. It's only been an hour and a half. Really, Dev? You know, they just wanted to kick it with me for a minute. Hey, I didn't know people follow them on Zoom. Yep, they do. What up, though, Erica? You said I have to close the case in probate. Hey, YGB. All right, y'all. It has been an hour and a half, so I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for your support. I know people thought I left like 30 minutes ago, but since 530, you guys were still here trying to kick it. I was like, okay, let's just kick it for a minute. And now I'm getting a little hungry, and my show about to come on in about 15 minutes. So you guys go check out Accused, Innocent or Guilty. It's a very, very good reality show. But I am going to try to come on either tomorrow or Friday, so look out for that notification. Make sure the notification bell, hit that bell, and press like if you haven't done so. Subscribe. Thank you again for everybody that's giving the super chats and also to the cash apps that I received. I appreciate you guys. And that's it. I'll holler at you guys next time.